Sewing project. You'll need the following materials to complete this. Thread and needles. Please bring your own if at all possible. Fabric. You want to use 3 different kinds of fabrics. Stuffing, scissors, chalk, and then the plush pattern. These materials will be provided in limited quantities, so if you're wanting some specific colors or something, you'll need to get those items. Calculate the area of each color in your plush pattern. Attach the pattern sheet with boxes around each piece to this paper. Round your lengths to the nearest 1/16 of an inch. Scale the values for 10 and 100 plushies. Round up on fabric pieces. Miscellaneous costs include startup costs and the stuffing. It'll take about 4 ounces per plushie to stuff. We'll use the area of one felt sheet as 93.5 square inches, and the price for one piece of felt, 35 cents. The topics of this activity include proportions, profit and interest, rounding, and area. When you get your plush pattern, the first thing you want to do is make sure that there are boxes around each piece. After there's boxes around each of the pieces, you'll want to find the lengths and the width and inches around each box. When getting pieces of fabric, you'll be getting different sizes of rectangles. And that's why you would put rectangles around these shapes to approximate their areas. It is also easier to approximate with a rectangle than finding the area of the actual shape itself. So you'll take a ruler and you want to measure the lengths and widths in inches. So go from one side of the rectangle to the other. So it looks like this side length is 7 and about 11/16 inch. The sizes will vary on your plush patterns. You'll write that at the top, and then to find your width, just turn the ruler around, start it at 0 at one side of the rectangle, and then measure it to the other side. Once you find the length and the width of a rectangle, you'll find the area, length times width. And for this particular piece, it says cut 2. So to find your area for both pieces, after you find the area for one, you'll just multiply that by 2. Write those in on each of the pattern pieces, and then add all the areas together and put them in this box right here. And then convert it to square yards. With the bird pattern, you'll do something very similar. Find the lengths and the widths of each box. Find the areas. If it says cut 1, you're done. If it says cut 2, multiply that area by 2. Add them all together, put them in this box, and then convert it to square yards. Same thing with the sea lion pattern. Find the lengths and the widths of each of the pieces. Find the areas. If you cut 2, multiply that area by 2. Find the total area, write it down in the box, and convert it to square yards. When you're approximating with a ruler, you have different tick marks. On the rulers, there's usually either 16 tick marks or 8 tick marks to get to 1 inch from another. The very middle would be 1/2. Half of a half would be 1/4, and then half on the other side would be 3/4. You would count the number of tick marks, and it will be that many out of how many tick marks there are altogether from 1 inch to the other. In this case, there are 16. One right here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We count the next inch as one of them. We do not count the previous inch though. So on this one, there are 16 altogether. So for example, if we had something that was measured to right here, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of 16 of an inch. And you would want to convert that to a decimal when you're writing out your lengths and widths. When you're filling out this table on the first page of the worksheet, you want to find the areas and list the areas of each of the pieces. On this, we can label these as color 1, color 2, and color 3. When you make your actual plushie, they don't have to all be different colors. But for the purpose of this worksheet, let's just have each of the pieces be separate colors. We'll label the bird as well. Color 1, color 2, and color 3. And then with the sea lion, there's 4 pieces. So color 1, color 2, color 3, and color 4. If you use a custom pattern that has more than 4 different kinds of pieces, you could just put some of the pieces together so that it has 4 different categories. When you fill this out, you want to write the area of one of your pieces, and then your other piece, and if you add all the pieces together, it should be the total that you had from the box. And these pieces in area are square inches. Now let's just make up some example here and say that the area for color 1 was 200, color 2 was like 15, color 3 was 530, color 4 was 90. So your areas will definitely be different, but for the purpose of this example, we'll use these. If you add them all together, you'll have the total area, 835 square inches. Now, the felt sheets needed for one plushie would be that area you just found, divide by 93.5, and then get the ceiling of that. That means you'll round up to the next whole number. So this one will look like this. So if we divide that, 200 divided by 93.5 is 2.13 something. Now, in normal rounding, that would round down to 2. But for ceilings, it's always going to round up to the next whole number. So the felt sheets you need for one plushie for this one would be 3. 3 felt sheets. The price of materials for one plushie would be that 3 times 35 cents. And that would be 1.05. So it would be $1.05. Now you want to multiply the color by 10. 200 times 10 is 2,000. And then you would divide this new area by 93.5. So we'll have 2,000 divided by 93.5 and get the ceiling of that. $21 point something. And that's going to round up to 22. Remember, ceiling will always round up to the next whole number no matter what that decimal is, unless it was 0. The price for 10 plushies would be that 22 times 35 cents. $7.70. And then you would find the area for 100 plushies, so it'd be 200 times 100. That's 20,000. We're going to divide that 20,000, divide by 93.5. And that's 213.9. And that would round up to 214. The price of 100 plushies would be 214 times 0.35. $74.90. Notice you can't find the price just by multiplying each of them by 10 and 100. For example, if we have $1.05 times 10, that's $10.50. But if the price of 10 plushies would only be $7.70. That is because for many of the pieces, you can fit multiple of them on one of the felt sheets. Or if you get it in bulk, instead of just getting one felt sheet like this, for 100 plushies, you would be more likely to get the square yards. Hence the reason why you would convert the square inches to square yards on that first planning sheet with the patterns. Once you fill out this table entirely with color 1, 2, 3, and then 4 if you use the sea lion, find the totals by adding each of those numbers together. For the prices of the materials, be sure to also include the $12 startup for the 1 plushie, 22 for the 10 plushies, and then 166 for the 100 plushies. Again, that cost is mostly for the stuffing and other prices that are not in there, such as the chalk, the scissors, etc. Alright, on the next page, profit is selling price minus the cost of the materials price. Research the price range of a plushie on the Build-A-Bear website. The price range of a plushie, after you've looked it up, go ahead and write those in the blanks. Choose a price within the researched range that is higher than the cost of materials for one plushie calculated on the previous page. So for your sale price, I would recommend choosing something that is bigger than $12, but smaller than $65. Pick a number between those and put it right here. Think about how much you would pay to get a custom-made stuffed animal. Once you've decided your price, let's fill out this next table. So with one plushie, how much does it cost to make it? This will be the price of materials for one plushie. So what you would put is the number you got right here. You would put it right here. Cost for 10 plushies, you would write this answer right here. And then the price for 100 plushies, you put that answer right here. The total sales revenue would be your sale price times the number of plushies. So this number is going to go right here. And then for 10 plushies, it'll be 10 times that number. And then for 100 plushies, it'll be 100 times that number that you put right there. To get the profit, it's going to be the revenue minus the cost. So the sale price for that many plushies minus the cost to make that many plushies. What if you put all of your profits into an account that has an annual interest rate of 9% and is compounded monthly if you sold 100 plushies? How long would it take you to have $7,000? How about $12,000? Round to the nearest year. Use the amortization formula A equals P times 1 plus R over N to the NT power to solve for T in years. Show your algebraic steps here. Alright, so the p-value that you're going to use is the profit for 100 plushies. The R value is converting the percent to standard here. 9% is the same thing as 9 over 100. 0.09. N equals 12 because it's monthly. There's 12 months in the year. And you're solving for T, time in years. To use the formula, you'll want to show the following steps here. So you write your given with the numbers plugged in. Next, divide by P, your profit for 100 plushies. And take the ln of both sides. And then divide by your N and then your 1 plus R over N. And then after that, approximate in the calculator. And round. To the nearest whole number. You'll do that with A is 7,000 and with A is 12,000. Here's the rubric sheet on the tasks needed to be completed for this project. You want to choose the plush pattern to use and write it down here. Draw boxes around each part of the pattern and find the surface areas of your chosen pattern. You'll write the total for the square inches and convert it to square yards. Also during this step, the scratch work will be checked with the boxes and the measurements for each piece. Decide which parts will be which colors. We'll put color 1, 2, and 3 with the square inches and convert to square yards on this page. And again, if you're using 4 different pieces, you could add that in the last line. Or you could combine those pieces into one of the other 3. Determine the cost to make 1, 10, and 100 plushies. Again, the scratch work will be checked for this step as well, to see if you filled in the table on that page. Determine a reasonable sale price for plushies and profits for 1, 10, and 100. So you write the sale price, the profits for 1, 10, and 100. This is part of that same table from before. Determine how many years it would take to make certain profits if a bank was opened and all profits were deposited using compound interest formula. The scratch work will be checked on the previous page for this step to see if you've done all the algebraic steps. Your rounded answers will go right here. Learn how to sew and gather needed materials. Needle, thread, if you can, again, bring those, fabric and stuffing. And then also there'll be a baggie for you to keep those in. Demonstrate to someone that you can thread a needle, start a stitch, sew a straight line, and tie a knot to end the stitching, and then have them sign here. Anyone can sign this right here once they've seen you do this. Preferably, you want somebody to sign this that is able to help you if you're needed some help on learning how to do this. Sew, stuff, and decorate your plushie. The teacher will sign off your completed plushie here. You'll show your completed plushie in person and have them sign it right here. Take pictures of plushie and upload pics to Canvas. Check Canvas submission to see if this is complete. Once you've submitted your picture, I'll check to see if you've turned it in and give you the points for that piece. Vote on your favorite plushies. Once you've voted for your favorite plushies in the Google form, you'll write your initials here. And then the last step, buy, sell, trade, or gift your plushies, if you want to. That's optional, it's not part of the points. The total score is out of 110 points. I hope you have fun with this sewing project.